joy in the Brisbane Lions rooms. Absolute scenes down there, and well, they should be mighty proud with the way they hung in there, showed great resilience and grit, and were able to overcome a huge 44-point margin during the third term. They now meet the Cats, and well, they're so close, another step closer to being able to redeem that really disappointing grand final heartbreak of last year.
Absolutely, they've had a couple of good finals wins. They'll go to the MCG next week thinking, gee, this is all before us. They know they've been to the grand final last year. All of a sudden they get a chance. It rears its head again, and they're staring success right in the eyes. And this is an opportunity because this is a premiership still up for grabs. I love what they did. Honestly, we spoke a little bit off air while we were watching the game thinking they've left it too late. They haven't made any changes. They persisted, they believed, and the belief paid off. They just willed their way over the line.
Joe Daniher, he just takes us on this ride. I don't know if I've seen a player like him that can disappoint you 1 minute and win you back the next.
Yeah.
But his last term, to kick those two big goals when you absolutely had to have them, and that wasn't an easy one here just in front of us in the pocket.
It was
Breeze doing plenty. You just have to take your hat off. Joe just goes about his work.
It's the greatest roller coaster ride of all time. You go up the biggest hills, you get the best view, then you get your guts ripped out when you go down into the trough, and you don't know if you're going to come out the other side, and still he does these amazing things.
All right, so the road to glory, and then there were 4 left alive in the race for the 2024 flag. Geelong and the Brisbane Lions, Port Adelaide and the Sydney Swans. The Giants, in really heartbreaking scenes, go out in straight sets this year, and gosh, they'll rue that one for a long, long time.
Well, they will, particularly because we spoke, Kingy, earlier about the coaching masterclass that Adam Kingsley put on. Yep. Everything worked well. They dominated that first half. In fact, they dominated the first 3.5 quarters, and you thought everything's going perfectly to plan. But as I said, we've learnt this year not to think things are done. When there's time left on the clock, things can change, and they inevitably do.
The easy question's going to be now from outside in is, can you play this way at that intensity for 120 minutes? And maybe you just can't. And maybe they need to be able to drop into another mode, Jason, and take some time off the clock. Not sure.
One player that couldn't have done much more for the Giants, Jesse Hogan. He kicked 5 goals. He's had a wonderful year, a great final series, and, well, he'll be feeling pretty heartbroken right now.
He will be. He can hold his head high. He's done everything that he possibly could. We queried at different stages of the game whether Harris Andrews should roll over onto him. Jack Payne stayed on him for the entire match. And look, he tried his best, worked hard. He's carrying a knee injury. Perhaps not quite as stable in some of those one-on-one contests. But, I mean, if you're a Giants coach or a Giants supporter, you can't ask for more from Jesse Hogan. You've got an outstanding year from him, and he did it in finals as well.
What a player. I mean, he's just become such a star in 2024, and he's probably been the story of the year, really, to see this guy come from the absolute doldrums to back to where he is just remarkable. To play this sort of footy, he's looked like Wayne Carey at stages through the year.
He's a more complete player now, I think, isn't he?
His preparation now is first class, and he's getting such reward on a weekend. It'll fuel him even further, Joey.
Well, imagine if he can do like Tom Hawkins and play his best footy post-30. I mean, he's still got plenty of years left in him, so, maybe they're, I know they'll be disappointed, the Giants, with what's happened in this final series, but they're still a group I think will bounce back and be around the mark again as long as players like him continue to play at the level they did.
Their list is certainly still in pretty good shape. Kingy, with thanks to Zero, you've stepped into the lab and had a closer look at Lachie Neale.
I just wanted to have a look at some of the clearance work, because there's 2 ways of looking at this. You can say, OK, does Lachie get help? Does he get enough help? And Lynchy spoke to the coach in the pre-match, said, well, it's on him to get it sorted. So he just goes one-on-one with Bedford. And there's no blocks for him. There's no real spoils. There's blocks for others. He rolled off, as he said to Lynchy in the post, or us in the post-match there. He went and picked up other players at different times to try and free up Will Ashcroft and McCluggage and those types. And maybe we have to do a deeper review and have a look at some of the last quarter clearances to see that happening in real time. I just wonder if this guy's the priority, Jace, and do they need to do more to help him? He's on an island, one-on-one, when he's being beaten.
Yeah, it's really interesting because he said to us, I probably battled too hard trying to fight the one-on-one matchup, and I probably did that for too long, so I needed to play more selfless. But whilst he decided to be more selfless and block for others, Why was he having to fight that one-on-one battle on his own so much? And why wasn't he getting blocked and getting a little bit more help to try and shake the Toby Bedford take? Because Bedford just possesses too much speed for him. That's the problem.
And this now it just goes in the scope for the Geelong Footy Club. They know exactly what they need to do now. Getting it done's another thing, and whether they've got that player is another question as well. But I just wonder if they're better off having Lockie have a dozen clearances, or does he play the sacrificial role and allow the others to share the spoils?
Well, in the end, it almost worked, didn't it? Because now the rest stepped up, so maybe there is a bit more confidence. It doesn't have to always be Lockie, and he can play a variety of roles and allow Ashcroft and some others to take more responsibility, because when they needed them, they stepped up in a big way.